This is what happens when you deal with an idiot. I require more clarification. Specificity is the key, because looking at this cast of characters, I don't understand how anybody can narrow it down to just one. Everybody is a motherfucking moron as far as I'm concerned. I'm John Renton with a retro review of Scream. No, not that Scream. Not any of these Screams. Not Scream 4, where everybody got on the floor and did the dinosaur. Not even Scream 5. And not even Scream 6, which I don't own, because fuck Scream 6. It was awful, despite the talented cast. Just scrap Scream 7 and go in a whole new direction. But before the Scream franchise rebirthed the slasher franchise, thanks to the iconic direction and great humor of Wes Craven, understanding the subtlety and greatness of horror, we got a 1981 film called Scream, where a rafting trip goes tits up because a bunch of faceless, nameless, well, they have faces, but you don't really figure out a way to distinct their faces from the other faces, because they could be eyes without a face. I kind of wish they were, because there are a few people that you might recognize when you check out the IMDb page, but yeah, this is one of the most boring slashers that you will ever fucking see. The same year that The Burning came out, which wasn't exactly great, but I did retro review that, and that at least tried. It wasn't great, but at least tried. It had some pretty good fire effects in a film called The Burning. I'm shocked. This just has a rafting trip. People go up a mountain. They end up in an old prospector town. There's gold in them there hills, along with seemingly an old captain's ghost. Maybe, kinda. Somebody is offing these particular people. Off-screen deaths, by the way, so yay, we don't even get some good deaths. And we get some really bad acting, some of the worst camera work I've seen in a slasher in quite a while. And this was written, executive produced, and directed by Byron Quisenberry, which sounds like a name way too snooty to be doing horror. And I don't really feel bad knocking his name, because the man died a number of years ago. He did some stunt work, like on Return of the Living Dead, which is another retro review I may end up doing. You have Pepper Martin, you have Hank Warden, you have Woody Strode. He had an interesting life. Check out his IMDb page. You have a few girls. A lot of people in this cast, actually. It was a pretty big trip, and only a few of them get killed. And realistically, you could doze off during most of this movie and not miss shit. Like, the synth score absolutely is infuriating. I mean, it's not even good 80s synth. It's like bad 60s synth put through, like, I don't know, a goddamn, like, a bunch of radiator fluid, and then they just tried to get the whole thing together. They tried to cobble it together, and then they set it on fire, and that was the end result of the music. Yeah, I hated this. I absolutely hated this, because apparently, according to IMDb, the writer, director, executive producer didn't actually tell anybody the ending of the script. He wanted to keep it ambiguous. Or maybe he actually didn't have an ending, hence why when we get to the ending, we're like, that's it? Who is that? He kind of looks like somebody that we saw, but maybe he's not. Yeah, and in case you can't tell, it's a retro review. There's going to be spoilers. Who cares? We start off with like a picture of like a sea, a ship on a sea. And then we see some like sea captain gnome-like figures that have blood dripping on them. And then we find these various people. There's this really, really bad comic relief character named Joe. I'm not even knocking the people if anybody from this movie is actually still alive. Most of them aren't. But dear fucking God in heaven. One guy gets killed like 20 minutes in after talking to his friend. It was like about business and stuff like that. And then he ends up dying. Why does he end up dying? Maybe they were going to do some business and resurrect this old prospector town that nobody really seemingly could get to, at least until some dirt bikers show up a little bit later. No, really, that's actually what happens. So you would think if these dirt bikers are out there, they could just walk back to town. I know that these old prospector towns, these old ghost towns do exist, not just in California, which is apparently where this is filmed, like Peru, California. No, not even the good kind of Peru. The Central South American country. Geography was never my strong suit, but I know it's south of Mexico. That being said, one guy gets killed, so maybe they think it's him. Except it's not. Except his buddy isn't all broken up, so maybe it could possibly be him. Who knows? Who's killing? Who cares? The breather I guess, was listed as the killer or whatever, according to some reviews and some trivia. So they're trying to figure out where the hell, they're gonna go, considering their raft is suddenly gone. Here's an idea. Why didn't they just deflate the raft and carry it with them? Because, yeah, if the killer had gotten down there, or if somebody had gotten down there and done that, or they had sunk the raft, I could see it, but we don't actually see that happen. Dirt bikers show up. One of the guys, Stan, leaves, along, and one of the other bikers sticks around. How did these bikers get there? They said they were lost, yet they had plenty of gas. And, like, literally, this movie is incomprehensibly slow-paced and also incomprehensibly cobbled together. You don't know what the fuck's going on. You don't care what the fuck's going on. Everyone just keeps yelling. Just yell loud noises. Apparently, the crew made a deal with Dr. Pepper and Kawasaki and other sponsors, I guess, as a way to present their products. I would have actually paid them not to feature the products if I were these companies, because it's not a good feature. They decide, because people keep getting killed in off-screen ways. There's either a cleaver being used, a scythe is attempted to be used later, an axe is attempted to be used. People are just getting killed. They're just wandering off and getting killed randomly. I don't think this movie actually had a script. I actually refuse to believe it was written. And since Byron Quisenberry is dead, I can just say that if he did write it, he was a fucking horrible writer and should never have been allowed to make a film. So, yeah, we see our heroes, our remaining heroes, even though it is a big group of people. I mean, if there's one killer, they could overpower this guy. I'm just saying, or whatever. They put some cans on a string just along one part where somebody could seemingly just walk around the whole damn thing, but as long as you walk directly through it, then you're going to alert people. Janet or Janice or whatever the hell her name was, I don't care. She walks into it, she got cut or something or scared, and fog starts rolling in. Then we get a Rottweiler dog, and Woody Strode shows up to basically give a bit of backstory that he was part of this captain, that him and the captain basically did stuff like led this ship through these waters and the captain helped build this town. I guess that's what the fishing stuff was from before with the fishing gnomes. Yeah, Woody Strode's gone instantly. He has a pocket watch thing that points to people who maybe are next, who could be the killer, who knows. Then this guy Rudy checks on, getting the the medical supplies, because like Stan suddenly shows back up. I guess, I don't know how. Maybe he's the killer. And then suddenly we have somebody with a scythe trying to do the killing, and Woody shoots him. So the implication is him and this captain did all this stuff, and this is back in like the 1890s. Yet he has a gun where he can shoot people. And he kills the killer. These old people show up. It looked like one of them could have been the goddamn captain, except that would mean the captain's ghost wasn't doing the stuff. It was him and an old lady showing up. And whoever they were, I guess they were the guy's parents, grandparents. I don't know. Somebody's suddenly they're dead. Was it Joe? Who was it? Like, literally, it's filmed so badly, it doesn't even matter who it is. None of the characters actually matter. It could have been Stan, it could have been Joe, it could have been whoever the hell. Well, it wasn't Joe. But, yeah, the figures lost their head when we cut back to the thing. We see the captain. It could have been the captain's ghost possessing these people. You don't really know, you don't really care, and none of it fucking matters. It's awful. This is an awful movie. And the idea of a ghost possessing people and doing killings because they entered his hallowed grounds or unhallowed grounds or whatever, that's fine. But this movie's so bad. This movie is so bad. Did anybody get this movie? Let me know in the comments. It's F, by the way. I don't usually grade retro reviews, but F. This is terrible. Agree, disagree with what I said. Like, share, subscribe. Twitter handle in the description. My Letterboxd description is in the... or Letterboxd title is in the description as well. Thank you guys very much for checking that out. I'm John Retlin. I'll see you soon.